the prosecution's theory is this. We know, facts not in dispute, that Karen Reed was dating this Boston police officer named John O'Keefe, who by all accounts was a really good guy. We know this because he had taken in his young niece and nephew who had lost each of their parents to cancer, heart disease, I mean, whatever. They were each fell ill in a short period of time, and this guy took them in. So he's dating Karen Reed. They go out on a Saturday night in January, and the snow on the forecast, and they're drinking, and they see other friends from Canton that were police officers and police officers' families, whatever. They invite them back to their house afterwards. So the prosecution's theory is they had a fight. She dropped him off outside the house, and then intentionally, and this is important, it was intentionally, she threw the car into reverse and backed up as fast as she could, struck him. He went flying into the front yard of this house owned by an officer last name is Albert, and left him there to die. She comes back in the morning with some friends. They're looking for him. She claims not to know what happened to him. She had called him like 32 times and left these angry voicemails. Where are you? How come you're not home? They found those later. At which point they said she kept repeatedly saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. The other theory that I tried to go in with a very objective mind to look at this through the blinders that jurors would be looking at it from. But clearly, I adopted this alternate theory, which was the defense's theory, that she dropped him off, she went home. He went into the house where the families were the Alberts and the McCabe's were both there. A fight breaks out that involves their German Shepherd named Chloe, who ripped his arm up and put scars all over him. He's lying unconscious. They drag him out into the snow and leave him there, hoping that it'll look like a snowplow hit him. One of the people in the house, wife, name is Jen McCabe, she Googled how long to die in the snow.
With the misspell.
That was at 2:27 in the morning, but the prosecution's claim is, oh no, it only looked like it was 2:27 in the morning. In fact, it was at 6:30 in the morning after she was aware that he was out there or whatever. So yeah, those are the two competing theories. Now, to me, if I was importantly in all this, and this is the key person in the entire thing, the lead investigator was from the state police. His name is Michael Proctor, who took over the investigation despite the fact that he's close friends with the Alberts and the McCabe's, which was disputed by some who said, no, they just vaguely are aware of one another. Their son, who was 18 at this time, when he was younger, was the ring bearer at Michael Proctor's wedding. And at no point did he say, I can't take over this case. I'm compromised out, which would have been the most reasonable thing to do. Just the fact that he didn't speaks to it, really unlocks Pandora's box of this town and just how everything is cloistered and everyone knows each other. And more than anything, this is Massachusetts exporting its culture to the world, because this is an economy that's built on favors. More than anything, it's one hand washes the other. You take care of me, I'll take care of you. So if there's one factor in all this, and there are many, where I can just call BS on the whole prosecution theory, it's these series of lies. So these two cops who were there at the scene, each destroyed their phone the day before a court order was going to be issued that they preserve their phone records. When I say destroyed, I don't mean they upgraded them at the Apple store. I mean, took out the SIM card, one of them went to Air Force Base down at Cape Cod and threw the SIM card in one trash and the phone in another. And the other guy also destroyed his. But more than anything, those same two guys, and it all boils down to this, they tell jurors, you do not leave your life experience at the courthouse steps. Bring your experience to your deliberations. Well, One of them butt dialed the other one at 2:27 in the morning, or so he said. Well, what were you doing when you butt dialed him? I was asleep and the phone was on my nightstand. Now the call goes through and it didn't go to voicemail, meaning at some point he physically hung it up as well with his butt. The other guy called him back minutes later, and what was he doing? He was making sweet, sweet love to his wife. Now, again, I've been married 31 years. At 2:27 in the morning, no married couple is doing that. Not within plus or minus 5 hours of 2:27 in the morning. At that point, if I was the defense lawyer, that would have been my entire closing argument. So when you lie about the little things, it means you're lying about the big things as well. And they constantly lied about how much they knew one another. Karen Reed supposedly was saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. The woman who testified to that had never mentioned it before. She didn't mention it in her report. She didn't mention it to the police at the scene. And they said, well, are you aware of, and mention this name, a member of Nicole Albert. And she said, well, I went to school, I believe, with a Nicole Albert. Well, within minutes, the internet found 36 pictures of them together on vacations, on spring break, in hot tubs together, on boats, at parties, at clubs, or whatever. Again, when you're lying about the little things, then you're probably trying to hide a greater truth. And it was endlessly fascinating. And then on top of it all, I think where it really reached a crescendo for me was when Michael Proctor, the lead investigator, took the stand. And they started asking him about his texts that he was sending to other law enforcement officers, where he called Karen Reed things that I will not repeat on your show. Clearly, she was the target. And one point, too, I think where it just kind of broke wide open for me was they showed security footage from the garage, the police garage where they had taken her SUV to. Now, again, the entire theory of the case was it was the back left taillight because it had been broken. We're not sure exactly when or to what extent or whatever. And so you see them looking at the back passenger side taillight where this all happened until you took a minute and realized that the image was reversed. So they were looking at the one on the driver's side because there were signs in the background that had the writing on them, the numbers and letters were backwards, and yet the timestamp at the bottom of the screen was all forwards. So this wasn't just an accidental flip, which I don't even know how you accidentally flip something.
Yeah,
The image had been reversed and then the timestamp put on it. And people say, well, what does that matter? Well, if it doesn't matter, you mention it. You go, hey, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, just want to point out this thing has been reversed. Don't think anything of it. No, it looked for all the world like they were looking at the taillight in question when in fact they were looking at another one. They collected blood samples at the scene with red Solo cups in a paper shopping bag. I'm not making that up. They went to an officer who lives across the street and got red Solo cups from him. He didn't see anything. No one's doorbell cameras were working. This was the least secured suburban street in America on this night, or people deleted their cell phone, their doorbell cameras or whatever. No one came out of the house. This is another thing that kills me. Proctor never knocked on the door. No one else did. They never got a witness statement. And nobody at 6 o'clock in the morning, when there's a bunch of first responders outside with their lights and sirens going, no one came out to see what was the haps. It was the opposite of a night before Christmas. Like, out on the lawn arose such a clatter. Everyone went to bed because they didn't care what was the matter, which would never happen. The dog never barked. And then last but not least, and maybe this won't be last, I don't know, but Chloe the dog, the German Shepherd, was sent away right after this happened. They said rehoused. Those blogs got a lot of hits, and I'm happy to say that if people were pleased with them, because they weren't easy to write. You've got to be careful. You don't want to slander anybody, but you do want to bring this whole preposterous circus to people in a way that they can sort of follow along with what you're trying to explain.
If you liked this video, check out the full interview. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you get notified every time a new video is uploaded. Thanks for watching.